Watermarks. One of the most popular questions in Facebook groups and forums seems to be how to create a watermark and put it onto your images. There are various ways how to create a watermark. Logos, signatures, fonts, whatever. I'll show you how to create and automate them in Photoshop and Lightroom. In this video you will learn how to create watermarks and how to add them with a single click of a button to your images in Photoshop and Lightroom. If you already have a watermark, stay with me, I promise you'll love this way of adding them. But first of all, ask yourself, do I really need a watermark? Watermarks can distract from your image, and from my own experience I can tell you, if you're looking for likes on Facebook or Instagram, you will get more of them without a watermark in your image. If you want to protect your images from theft though, that's a different story. In general, every image is protected by copyright, no matter if you are using a watermark or not. But many people just don't care about it and use the image for whatever purpose they like. So what many people do is just put an ugly watermark over their image that doesn't do the image justice. And that's what we want to fight with this video. Get rid of ugly watermarks. First, take a piece of paper and a not too thin pen and start to write your first name many times. I used a calligraphy pen for that. Consider if you want it to be your real signature or one that is totally random. I, for one, don't want the signature on my credit card to match the one on my watermark. Next, do the same with your second, third or whatever name. Choose the ones you like best and photograph or scan them with the highest resolution or size. If you scan them, save them as a TIFF to avoid compression. Open both files in Photoshop and copy one over the other. To do that, I'm going to choose Layer, Duplicate Layer, and in the destination document I'm going to choose the other one and hit OK. Then I can close this one. In the Layers palette, check if your bottom layer is locked. If it is, unlock it by clicking the lock here. If you can't see the Layers window, go to Window, Layers. We now need to increase the canvas size so that we can see both parts of the signature. So go to Image, Canvas Size and enter a width that is much bigger. I'll choose 100. Okay, scroll over there. To be able to see both parts of the signature, I first need to change the blend mode. So I'm going to select the upper layer and choose darker color in the blend mode of the Layers palette. And now with the Move tool selected, I can move the layers around, like so. Okay, now I select both layers and move them up a bit, like that. If you have excessive ink strokes like I do here and there, use the eraser tool to get rid of them. In my case it's the lower layer, so I have to select the lower layer and erase the ink strokes. If you're done, flatten the image by choosing Layer, Flatten Image, and don't forget to save it. File, Save As, and I'm going to give it a clear descriptive name, Watermark Signature. Going to save it as a TIFF file. Now I'm going to convert it into a two-color image, only black and white, no gray, by choosing Image, Adjustment, Threshold. By dragging this triangle, I can choose whether I want to make it more grungy on the left or more clean on the right. I choose it somewhere in the middle, like so, and hit OK. So far so good. Next I want to convert this image into a shape. Why would I want to do that? Because a shape can be extended to whatever size without losing quality, because it consists of paths rather than pixels. To do that, first we need to choose Select, Color Range, and with the eyedropper tool, pick the black and hit OK. Now we have a selection around the black areas of the image. We want to convert that selection into a path, so we need the path Paths palette. If it's not visible, go to Window, Paths. And then click on the circle with the small squares. And boom, we already have a path around our watermark. I want to convert that into a fill layer. So I go to Layer, New Fill Layer, Solid Color. I'll give it a name. It's Watermark Signature. And hit OK. Give it a color, in this case black, and again hit OK. And here we have our shape layer. That was pretty quick, right? We can now change the color by double click on this small icon here. Change it to red, blue, green, whatever. I'm gonna keep it black for the moment. And now I can delete the background layer because we won't need it anymore. Don't forget to save your work every now and then, clicking save. Okay. It's about time to place our watermark over an image. So let's go to Lightroom, choose an image and say Edit in Adobe Photoshop. The image will then open in Photoshop. I will change back to our watermark image and duplicate the watermark layer by choosing Layer, Duplicate Layer, and as a destination document I'm going to choose our image and hit OK. Back to our image, we see that the watermark is placed. Now I'm going to move it down here, change the size by hitting Command T for transform. Put it somewhere here and hit enter. No surprise, a dark watermark over a dark background doesn't look all that good, so we're going to change the color by double clicking here on the layer and choose white instead. I want to make it a bit smaller because the main attraction is still the image and not the watermark. So far so good. What about adding some text to our watermark, like photography or even better, our web address? Hit the keyboard shortcut T and click somewhere here. And I'm going to enter www.johndoe.com and click on the move tool. Of course the black doesn't look great again, so I change the text color to white to better see what I typed. And I'm going to resize this to, let's say, 20 points in my case. And move it somewhere here. If you don't like the font, you can change it here in the Character tab. Click here, and then you can choose any font you wish. If you don't like any of these, there's a solution. There's a website called Google Fonts, and it currently has 960 free fonts available. You can sort the fonts by categories. For example, if you don't want any handwritten font, which I would recommend because your other font is already handwritten, you just uncheck that. And you can also type up here your web address, www.johndoe.com. So you see how it will look like. Scroll down and see if you find something that fits your needs. I already selected a few for downloads. Let me search for them. Writehouse, like this, or Writers, whatever. I click the plus here, and the other ones are Play, this one, and Partour 1, this one. If you then click the bar down here and customize, you can check whether there are different styles available, like here, Bold 700, and check the box. And then you can select download here and save it to your hard drive. Once you downloaded the fonts, you have to install them. I won't show you how that works because it's different in different operating systems. But you have to restart Photoshop once you install the fonts because otherwise they would not work in Photoshop. So let's do that. Save your work and restart Photoshop. Okay, Photoshop has restarted, and now let me tell you why I wanted to show you that. You can make a watermark not only out of a signature but also out of fonts. Let's try that. Let's type John, hit Control Command Enter to finish the text, and type another one, Doe, and again Command Control Enter. Now let me play a little. Like that, so you can get pretty creative using just fonts. But let me delete that once again and continue on our other watermark. Okay, here comes the magic. Now we're going to create a very easy Photoshop action to add the watermark to your image with a single click of a button. First, we need to convert our text into a shape layer 2. So let's go to Type, Convert to Shape. Before we are ready for our Photoshop action, we need to create paths. We do have paths up here, but we need to name them. So I double click that and say Watermark Signature Path. And the next one for the John Doe, here, double click that one down here and call it Watermark Web Address Path. And now we can actually delete these two shape layers up there because we have saved the paths here. And now we're ready for our Photoshop action. If the Actions window is not visible here, go to Window, Actions to display it. And then press this little symbol here to start a new action. We're going to name it, surprise, surprise, Watermark Signature. And then we're going to assign a function key to it. I have a lot of functions already, so my first free is F7. And that's what I'll choose, and then I hit Record. Next, I will select our first path, which is Watermark Signature Path. Choose the drop-down menu here and choose Insert Path. Then I go to Layer, New Fill Layer, Solid Color. I'm going to name it Watermark Signature Path. Hit OK. Choose White as color and hit OK again. Then I will choose the other path, which was Watermark Web Address Path, and do the same. Insert Path, Layer, New Fill Layer, Solid Color, Watermark Web Address Path, hit OK, white as a color, and hit OK again. And then I stop the recording of our action. That was super easy, so let's try our watermark. We go into Lightroom, edit this image in Photoshop, and then we just hit F7. The problem is we're going to see an error message. It says the command select is not currently available. That is because it wants to select the path watermark, but we don't have a path here because it's a new image. What are we going to do? We could click continue and one more continue because the other path wants to be selected too. And we still have a watermark here, but we're going to clean it up a bit. Let me undo all the changes here. And then I'm going to delete this part of the action. Delete, OK. And this part of the action, select path watermark. Okay, and then we'll try again, F7, and we're done. Now you should wonder, we have a white watermark. What if we had a white image, like this? Let's open it in Photoshop and hit F7. The watermark is there, but we don't see it. So why don't we create another action with a black watermark? Nothing's easier than that. Select this action here and then go up here and choose duplicate. Now we have a second action. Again, go up here and choose action options. We're going to name this watermark signature black, function key F7, but this time we check the box for shift, so we have to click shift F7 and then OK. Then we're going to double click this make fill layer, the name stays the same, and we choose black instead, and the same with the other one. Make fill layer, stays the same, make it black. Okay. Now we have two black fill layers here. We don't need them. Photoshop just created them by incident, so to say. And we also don't need the white watermark. So we shift click here to select them all and then we click delete. And now all we have to do is shift click F7 and have a black watermark. So now we have our watermark action for Photoshop. But what about Lightroom? First, we need to save our watermarks on transparent backgrounds. So I'm going to hide the image, select the rectangular marquee up there, and just draw a rectangle over our black watermark. And then I say image crop. Let's bring it up here and make it a little bigger, like so. And then I'm going to choose File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as a PNG file because PNG is the only file format Lightroom would accept that has a transparent background. And I'm going to call it Watermark Signature Black and save it. Doesn't matter what you choose here. And then let's do the same for our white watermark. I'm going to hide the image here, choose the rectangular marquee tool, draw a rectangle, say image crop, and save it as a PNG. There it is. In the same folder as the other one, and call it watermark signature white. And now we're finished in Photoshop. Let's get over to Lightroom. First, you have to select a few images to preview your watermark. And then go to Lightroom Classic, Edit Watermarks, or on Windows, go to File, Edit Watermarks. Up here in the image options, select Choose, browse to your watermarks, and I'm going to select the black one first. Watermark Signature Black PNG. And I don't want it to have bottom left, I want it to have bottom right. And I can play with the insert here. I could change the opacity or the size. But I'm happy as it was, so I click Save. And I can give it a preset name, and it's going to be, surprise, surprise, Watermark Signature Black. Create. But nothing happened. Why is that? Because Lightroom only adds the watermark to exported files. Before I show you that, let's do another one. So Lightroom Classic, Edit Watermarks, and we need our black watermark. We're going to choose a white, sorry. Choose Watermark Signature White. We don't see it here, so we choose the next image. Now it's there. I'm going to choose Anchor Right, play with the insert a bit. The rest is fine. And hit Save. And I'll save it with the name Watermark signature, white, create. Now that we have white and black watermarks, all we have to do when exporting from Lightroom is make sure that we use the correct ones. For example, for images with a bright background like this one and that one, we're going to use the black watermark, and for images like this one and that one, we're going to use the white watermark. So let's do that. First of all, select this one and that one, right-click Export, Export. Check the checkbox watermark here and select watermark signature black, and then hit Export. And for the other ones, like these for example, right-click Export, Export, we choose watermark signature white and export. Now let's have a look at our images. You see, they all have a beautiful watermark. Depending on whether they have a bright background or a dark background, they have the correct watermark. However, for placing watermarks on images, I usually prefer Photoshop to Lightroom, but now you know both, so you could choose. So much for watermarks. If that was too complicated for you and you're interested in a watermarking service, including the signature, the Photoshop action and the transparent PNGs, let me know, because I'm considering offering that on our website Photo 1x1. Okay, that's it for today. See you next time. If this video was helpful for you, please help us rank higher in YouTube searches by subscribing, leaving a comment or simply spreading the word.